Hello everyone, welcome back to Trek Today. Today I wanted to come on here and recommend that you read the newest Star Trek book coming out early as one of the first little celebrations of the 60th anniversary of the franchise. We have Star Trek, the original series, Identity Theft by Greg Cox. An all-new Star Trek novel celebrating the 60th anniversary of Star Trek the Original Series, continuing the legacy of Captain James T. Kirk and the crew of the USS Enterprise. It's one of those that takes place partially across two different dates, but thankfully it's been pretty common recently for a lot of these with they have a story that takes place across multiple years or generations or however they have it set up to go constantly back and forth between two or sometimes three time frames of the story, and I in general don't like that setup. I don't like that switching back and forth. I'd much rather the way this is a little more set up where it starts, gives you more of that background, and the story primarily takes place 20 years later. That original 2269 during the era of the TOS series we have for generations. The planet Voyager has been torn apart by civil war. Peace seems impossible until Captain Kirk, along with a green young ensign named Pavel Chekhov, boldly take action to get both sides talking to each other at last. So you really get the background and the setup, and then the majority of the story takes place in 2289. Invited to celebrate 20 years of peace, the crew of the USS Enterprise A is returning to Voyager as honored guests, but Security Chief Chekhov is all too aware that the war is still in living memory, and that not everyone has forgiven or forgotten past grievances. He's determined to ensure the festivities go off smoothly, only to find himself at the center of an insidious plot to plunge the planet back into war. Cut off from his ship, his captain, and his crewmates, and replaced by a vengeful imposter, Chekhov is on his own, racing against time to stop a celebration of peace from ending in tragedy. This is a very well-written, excellently paced, exciting, sometimes funny Star Trek adventure that gets the voices of the characters down pat as I would expect from Greg Cox. It really feels like these characters from that particular era. Sounds very true to them and their relationships, and it's very important, as with the bit of the description there in the title, Identity Theft. It is a situation where Chekhov, who is our main character for the story, so for fans of Pavel this is a must-buy, he is caught up in a plot, and through a transference is just there's sort of like a body swap story with this very deer-like alien species, and he's trying to make his way through unfamiliar territory in another's body, and it's very interesting, and again a lot of great humorous moments as well, and exciting. It works out well, and then you have the would-be saboteur in Chekhov's body on the Enterprise, and again the relationships are really important as they are trying to maintain or reveal their identities depending on whose perspective you're at, and it deals a lot with, of course, to be able to get by you have to maneuver through a lot of these personal relationships, and it just works very, very well and shows how there is still some really good Star Trek writing out there. You just have to know where to look, and these days it's really been in some of the books that are still coming out, so it's definitely one that I recommend. I don't want to go any more into the details of the plot because this is one that is very new, and I'm really hoping that you go pick up and read because, again, there's still some really fantastic, fun Star Trek stories out there to be told.